Hi everyone, it's Karen from Redbird Quilt Co. I'm here today to show you quickly how I marked the outside with the setting, what would refer to as a setting triangle in the chevrons with a twist quilt that was created for the Moda Bake Shop in February of 2015. I purchased these great curved acrylic templates from the Quilted Pineapple. They're referred to as the QP, Quilted Pineapple Curved Templates. I'm using a number 20 template and marking a curved cross-hatching across this specific block. I'm using a water erasable fabric marking pen that I just picked up at any quilt store or any shop that has quilting supplies. So I'm resting the template right on the fabric, and because I'm very new to using these rulers, I want to mark my lines. I just think that it's easier to get used to the rulers if you mark the line. It's a very faint line because I've marked a lot of blocks so far on this quilt. But once I mark the first line, then I'm going to use the lines of the template of the acrylic ruler and position it so that I can mark the follow-on lines. In this particular quilt, I went 2.5 lines deep, not 2, not 3, but right between the 2 and the 3. You really don't need to be exact. The lines still come out just fine. So position the ruler and use your marking tool, whatever it is you want to use. These are light colored blocks, so a soapstone doesn't work. So I'm going to just, now I've got my second mark on there, I'm just going to keep going here real quickly so that I can try to show you the whole thing. Marking and moving to the 2.5 between the the second and the third line on the QP template. And this is a number 20 that I'm using to do this particular curve. I also used this curve in the feather starburst blocks that are inside of the quilt, which I show you in a separate tutorial. So I'm just going to mark through. You're just going to follow the same pattern all the way through, and I won't finish this out, but you do just keep going down through here for several more marks, and then all you do is you flip your ruler around. And it doesn't matter with this great ruler, this template, if you use the inside or the outside curve. It's the same exact curve, which is wonderful. So when you're aligning though your template, make sure you're considering your 1/4 inch seam allowance. So align where the 1/4 inch seam allowance is going to be. Here it doesn't matter because that allowance is already finished. So now you're just going to mark the other direction, and your fabric is going to move a little bit. Normally you would mark your quilt before you have it layered with your batting, but because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to quilt, I did it afterward. So again, I'm coming in 2.5 lines using the line that I just drew, aligning there and coming out. One thing to consider, it doesn't always work out, and you're probably not going to be able to see it in the video very well, but here where this seam allowance is, you want to try to get your X of your 2 cross hatches to align on that seam allowance. This is not being prepared for a show or for judging, so if it's not exactly perfect, I'm not too awful worried about it. But if you were going to do a show quilt or a juried quilt, you might want to make sure that that's lining up on the seam allowance for your half square triangles. So that's it. You're just going to go through and mark the whole rest of these lines, the remaining lines, all the way out to the edge. And then you're ready to sit at your machine and start sewing. Hopefully I prepare another video for you to show you how to sew, or actually how I sew these lines. And again, you use the curve template, the QP curve template, to do that work as well. It makes it so much easier when you have a hard template to follow, and that way you won't stray from your marked line. Okay, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate you stopping by. I'm Karen at Redbird Quilt Co.